Conversations with Keeme. Hey, oh.
Hello, my name is Ajibola Tajuddin, but you can call me Keeme. And today you're watching Conversations with Keeme, a show where we ask stuff and we make stuff. This season, to go with NPT's holiday show theme, Jazz, we'll be making music. December 14th and 15th, make sure you come check us out in the holiday show. Today's episode will be turning the tables a little bit. We just did an interview with Miss Clauz with the Z with WeBe108, and now we'll be interviewing him, Allan Lamberti, right? That's Allan Lamberti. We'll be doing an interview with him, Allan Lamberti, who is the afternoon host of WeBe108 in Bridgeport, Connecticut, my hometown, and has been in the radio business for 17 years. He is originally from Trumbull and has had previous jobs in Philadelphia and Hartford. Thank you so much for joining us here on Conversations.
Of course, thank you for coming.
So what was it like starting out in the radio business?
Fun. It was fun. I started in Philadelphia when I was in college. I worked for the college radio station, but that wasn't, much of anything until I got an actual job in radio for a big top 40 station in Philadelphia. And I started on the ground floor. I looked for like an internship, but instead I ended up getting a part-time job as a promotions assistant, driving the van, going to supermarkets, handing out t-shirts. And then from there, I sort of learned the business and worked my way up. I got into marketing, I got into production, I got into on-air. And every sort of step along the way, I've just always had fun doing whatever it is that I'm doing. I've done everything but sales. That's the one thing I haven't done.
And you're a DJ, correct? How did you start
am a DJ. So that was when I finally, when I was in Philadelphia, I was part-time, and, the shows would need people to chime in here and there. They just wanted different voices on the air. It was sort of really an active station. And then when I moved back to Connecticut, I grew up in Trumbull, and I moved back home after graduating college. I, pursued radio jobs as well, and I was in the marketing department, but radio is the kind of industry where if you sort of hang around, and if sometimes somebody calls out sick and they just need somebody to be on the air right away. And if you're familiar with the station and you can handle the job, all right, can you do Saturday night? Or hey, can you work on Thanksgiving? Then you get on air that way, and you just work your way up from there.
And as being an actor myself, a lot of people say, why the arts? So I want to ask you, why radio?
Radio, because I was always sort of interested in it. Because, I was in high school and middle school in the 90s, and that was when Howard Stern was on regular radio, and he was a big deal. So, you sort of fall into being obsessed with that. And then the concept of being on radio always was very appealing to me. I was never interested in necessarily doing what he was doing, but just being able to entertain and playing music that you love is really the draw. And then from there, when you realize what else goes on to it, making appearances and helping to program the station, that some people maybe aren't interested in necessarily all of those things, but I was definitely interested in all aspects of how to get actually a radio station out over the airwaves. Yes. All right, so we're in actually the studios for 95.9 The Fox, which is a rock station based out of Norwalk. I'm on WeBe108. Somebody's in the studio right now, so we're not in that studio. Yeah. That's why we're in here. So this is The Fox. It's on the air right now, and we can actually hear the station. This is a brand new board. Microphones are here. This is what the station actually runs off of. It's running sort of in automatic right now. We're playing this sweeper off of this pot right here, and then we're playing Smashing Pumpkins Tonight off of this one. And it's gonna cycle through all three of these. And that's how we can mix and fade down if necessary. We can also have the capacity to run it automatically. It's, the technology is there. It's kind of like a big sort of like iTunes. Okay. And it basically runs, these are the songs that are coming up. We've got Smashing Pumpkins, we've got Alice in Chains. Then this is a promo for a ticket giveaway that we're giving away for Boston Calling. Foo Fighters and Red Hot Chili Peppers are going to be playing there this summer. And then we go into our commercial break right there. And basically the station sort of runs that way. We can actually like see it run in real time.
And to go with NPT's theme this year, Jazz, which is December 14th and 15th, be sure to come check us out. And as you know, as a jazz artist, you have to be very creative, and I'm sure as a radio host, you have to be very creative. What are some advice that you would give to people who want to stay creative?
So I find being open to different formats of music, listening to other DJs that are also in other formats, because if you're on a rock station and you only listen to rock DJs, you might start emulating them and copying them in a way that like everybody sort of sounds the same.
Yeah.
But if you listen to a country music station, they may, have different sort of takes, different sort of topics, but their delivery might be something that you could copy or emulate, things like that.
And as you know, our show is based off of Young Leaders, which you can check. We just did an interview with Allan in We Be One Away, correct? And it's going to be on your website?
That'll be on the website.
Where is your website? What's the website name?
So, WeBe108.com.
Okay. You can check that out on WeBe108.com. You can check us, me and Miss Clauz with the Z, on WeBe108. And we talk about young leaders. So, growing up, I can bet that you probably were a young leader, right? Or
we'll retroactively say yes.
And what is some advice that you would give to young leaders now?
To young leaders now, I would say kind of what I was saying before, like listen to others, listen to other sort of voices and ideas. You can basically, if you listen to them and you understand sort of where they're coming from and being open to other ideas, instead of being so much closed-minded, not that necessarily a young person would be, but allowing yourself to branch out and sort of get out of your comfort zone a little bit, I find is the best way to be a leader. If you hear other sort of opinions and things like that, you'll be able to then say, get different viewpoints and make a decision that maybe you wouldn't necessarily have made from your gut instinct. You give yourself a second to think about it and say, like, all right, what's the best course of action? I find that's generally the best thing to do as a leader.
Thank you so much for joining us here
You're
on
welcome.
Conversations with Keeme. And I want you guys to remember that your voice is your power, so use it. Keeme out.
Conversations with Keeme is produced with support from the Department of Economic and Community Development, Connecticut Office of the Arts, which also receives support from the National Endowment for the Arts, a federal agency.